to go back to the and I kind of understand what's going on here. As we say, good morning to everybody out there getting after graveyard shift. Shasky, what's going on here is I think Kerr's going to go down with his guys at the end of the day. And when he goes down with his guys are Clay, it's Curry, it's Draymond, it's Wiggins. And Kuminga's part of being his guy. He played 32 minutes last night, 18.7 rebounds. And then you see less minutes for Podziemski. You see less minutes for Chris Paul. And you see a little bump for Kevon Looney, who was playing in place of Trace Jackson-Davis. So you know what? Lou Dog looks solid. He looks solid. So I'm not going to nitpick about who was in, who was out. He's got to get a win, and the Warriors got one yesterday.
Yeah, and you know, down the end, crunch time, they already had built up a big enough lead, and so you subbed in Chris Paul with whatever, 3 minutes to go. All made sense to me. All made sense. Klay Thompson was great yesterday. I mean, he looked great. But Andrew Wiggins, whatever happened at halftime and what they did coming out of the break, where it felt like, to my eyes, I don't know about the numbers and the data supporting this, it just felt like an assertiveness from Andrew Wiggins to attack the rim and to be aggressive without hesitation, and not like late in the possession, nowhere to go with it aggression. I'm talking about I'm going to the rack hard. Over and over and over again to start the third quarter. I thought that was awesome. And it was just what the doctor ordered. Well, I don't give a damn if it was the G League Ignite. They needed a win to stop the bleeding, to your point regarding the Houston Rockets on their tails. Every win gives you just a little more breathing room.
It does. No doubt about that. With 11 left. And again, they're in Orlando today. Klay Thompson gets to start. He also brought up Andrew Wiggins. You bring up Andrew Wiggins. Klay Thompson mentioned after the game. There's no secret, folks. The Warriors want to get to a destination they want to get to. You need Andrew Wiggins. So, I know we were having a conversation on Monday about Andrew Wiggins. Maybe you just don't. No, you're going to play Andrew Wiggins because you're going to see what this season. You're not going to waste opportunities when you have Stephen Curry in your lineup to make the playoffs. And we may think the situation is dire. A lot of fans may think it's, they don't have a shot to make any noise in the playoffs. And that may be true. Who knows? Who the hell knows? I could play the other side of it and say, well, you lost 3 games to OKC. You should have won 2 of them. I could play the other side of it and say, well, at least should have tied Denver in the season series. You blew 2 games against the Denver Nuggets. You could say that you should have won one of the Minnesota games. Whatever. The city can do that. We'll see what happens if the Warriors do advance to the playoffs, but there's no secret. If Andrew Wiggins doesn't play like last night, they don't win that basketball game, even against the short-handed Miami Heat. So he gets 17-7. 100%. He's 7-12. He's efficient. Didn't have the 3-ball rolling well, but he was going to the basket. He was attacking. He was aggressive on both ends of the floor. The fact is, this team has no shot if Andrew Wiggins doesn't play like the Andrew Wiggins that we've seen maybe before he even stepped away from the team for 3 games when he was playing well for a 16-game stretch.
The word that I want to use today when talking about the Warriors is sustainable. What is sustainable? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about Wiggins and the effort level.
Right.
And that's on him. I don't think that's on anyone else other
just production.
And mindset.
I need production.
But wouldn't you agree mindset for him is important?
Well, I don't know where his mind's at.
No, I'm saying the mindset of I'm going to attack and I'm going to be aggressive and I'm not going to settle for deep jumpers when I have the mismatch on the floor.
Well, part of the reason why he settles for deep jumpers, I believe, is some of the spacing on the floor. So some of the spacing when the paint is compromised, and that's why Draymond has to get aggressive offensively, and that's why you go to Klay Thompson over Brandon Podziemski, because Klay Thompson provides more spacing. It is what it is. He provides more spacing right now in pods than Brandon Podziemski. So when you got spacing, all of a sudden Wiggins has more room to operate. I mean, come on.
Because of availability yesterday, there were a few lineup there. And look, people are going to lose their minds. I was listening to the station you can't blame lineups. Guys, they've constructed a roster where they're going to have some funky, weird lineups. And it is important to have a short leash on some of these lineups because you don't have the margin of error as old. So what I'm saying is there were some heat check shots from guys like Klay Thompson. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where is he supposed to go with the ball? Look at it's Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, and GP2 out there with him. Who who do you want shooting the ball? Like, where's the space he coming in? You're talking about Draymond Green. There were a couple of possessions where he's doing the same things. Like, Dre, you got to take a couple dribbles into the paint, man. You got to square up to the basket, and you're going to have to take some of these shots. And so, look, it got hairy. I thought they handled business and then made the last couple of minutes irrelevant. A win is a win. I'm going to take it. I'm not gonna critique it. I just want to see where can they roll over the effort level. I didn't even think it was that great of a Kuminga game, but I thought Draymond did a great job getting him involved.
He was solid. The starting five was solid yesterday, and this starting five with Clay and Wiggins and Curry and Draymond and Kuminga has actually been really, really good and really, really efficient. Anthony Slater will join us at 8 o'clock to speak on that in the small sample size that they've played together. They've been highly efficient together, a lot more spacing, a lot more cutting, a lot more driving. They figured it out here. What does it mean for Brandon Podolski? Not a damn thing. Just continue to play your game, kid. You played 22 minutes last night. You're playing fine as a rookie.
No problem.
It's whether you start or come off the bench, everybody's got to be ready to go. That's what happens on a team like this. We don't have a clear-cut number two. So just get a damn win. And look, in the second half, first half, I could already feel it.
What's that?
They're only up. They're down 2 at the game, at the half, and everybody's like, oh, God, here we go again. Now scored the Heat by 23 in the second half to take care of business. So what happens today in Orlando? That's going to be a big litmus test. Huge litmus test.
The effort level coming out of the break, I'm telling you, man, just seeing Andrew Wiggins play like that, it was like, all right, like that's the Andrew Wiggins everyone fell in love with. And again, I always go back to, like, there's all these variables in life and in sports that you can't control. The one that you can't control is your mindset and your effort and your dedication on a particular play and a particular facet of your life. And so I'm watching the way this guy was playing yesterday, and I don't know what happened, but he's got to bottle that up, and I want to see him carry that over. You're going to miss shots. You're going to have possessions where guys blow by you. You know, those things do happen. You're going to have a possession like Kuminga did where he goes for the steal, and then Draymond picks up the 5th foul, and it's just, it happens. It's ball, right? You're going to make mistakes. But continue to be persistent. And the way he was attacking the rim, it was like, all right, here we go. You know, he had a couple of nice floaters in traffic over Bam that were just like, that was playoff 2022 Wiggs.
So consistency here with the Golden State Warriors. Now, it's interesting with the Dubs, right? Because Curry brought it up the other day after Minnesota said all it takes is a spark to go on the run. He goes, look at the Houston Rockets. They've won 9 in a row. It took them a spark, right? Well, I think back, and they've had some hot streaks, right? 5-1 going into the playoffs 2 years ago. They were rolling last year going into the playoffs. And I know this is different. And people are going to laugh at this, and I really don't care. But look at the We Believe team. People forget the We Believe team when they got to the playoffs if they weren't 9-1 down the stretch. It didn't lead the league in points per game down the stretch in those last 10 games where they were scoring 117. And that was 17 years ago when scoring wasn't up. Maybe the Warriors over the next 11, and you got some big boy teams here. Can they get hot, go on a run of, say, 8-3, 9-2? Hell, even 7-4, we'll take it. If they can go on that little run like that, all of a sudden you start feeling good about yourselves. And look, man, in today's NBA, you can't go from play-in to the playoffs. You can't go. Like, would anybody be surprised if the LA Lakers ended up in the Western Conference Finals? Would you be surprised? I would be surprised.
No, but like to your point, didn't Miami come out of the play-in and go right
double elimination to the NBA Finals?
Yeah. So I mean, the team that you faced last night has already kind of accomplished that and proven it. To your point,
the Lakers last year was a play-in team.
And got right there to the brink.
They went to the first round, beat the Grizzlies, beat up on the Warriors, and got to the Western Conference Finals. So you can make a run now. Can this team make a run? Let's take it game by game. But I like the energy yesterday. I like the form. I like that Klay Thompson got rolling here.
Yeah, me too.
Klay Thompson